You brought up the running game a second ago, how you think they need to revamp the running scheme, the blocking schemes, the entire philosophy behind the running game. But I want to start with Bull on this because when we were talking yesterday about the rundown, Bull, you said you actually kind of liked what you saw from Nick Chubb yesterday.
I thought it was the most promising game from Nick Chubb. I thought I saw, and maybe I'm just conning myself because I pride myself on being unbiased, but maybe with Nick Chubb I'm a little biased. I don't know because I want him to have a, I don't know, a second career, but I don't want him to be done as a superstar. So, and I'm hoping he's not. But I thought he had more Nick Chubb-esque runs yesterday than I've seen all year.
I agree.
I'm not saying, clearly he's not 100% back to what he was. I'm not trying to argue that at all. But I thought he looked more like himself yesterday more often than we've seen in any other game. Am I crazy?
No.
Or you guys think that was the case too?
No, they're clearly still handling him with kid gloves.
Yep.
11 carries.
And he did, and by the way, Njoku did get more targets for that.
Did we get that right?
Fence rider.
13 versus 11 targets over carries.
Right, I think who was on the Njoku side?
I don't remember. I think Mike was. Maybe Dustin and Mike. I don't know.
I was on the carries.
Oh, okay.
I didn't understand. I agree with you. He did look a little bit more like Nick. I'm still concerned.
Yeah, sure.
I hear what G's saying, and he's right. Like, you got to give it a year. I just look at the age and the fact that this is two traumatic injuries to the same knee, and I'm like, man, I just don't know.
The only thing I'll say is you could bring him back for nothing.
Yes.
Bring him back for nothing and draft a young running back.
I mean, I'm almost positive Nick was on the field on that fourth down carry to Jerome Ford. I didn't understand that. If you're going to have,
he was on the field.
Yeah, if you're going to have, and Kevin said like that was not what they called. I don't know what happened.
Look at the look on his face. He was pissed.
Like that was crazy.
I don't. And again, like I mean, they got mad.
He said that's not what he called.
It wasn't executed the way it was supposed to be. I don't know what
that's throwing James under the bus.
Well, he said it wasn't the play design wasn't to lose yards or run backwards.
Right, but then he said it wasn't executed the way it was supposed to be. And I mean, Jameis had the terrible. Remember, he checked out of the whatever. He checked into that terrible end around.
The jet sweep to Tillman
on fourth down.
Right.
That really kind of. But I don't understand if you have Ford and Nick Chubb on the field on fourth down. Why are you giving it to Ford and not Nick on that? I mean, it's nitpicking a little bit, but it's not. Also,
they need a Jerome Ford, twinkle toes, bro. Is this guy? He has good runs. Like he's a special teams guy to me. Put him on a kickoff and see if he can get around a corner. But oh my goodness, this guy. He there was a time where he got around the corner, and he just wouldn't put his shoulder down. He just was like, oh, I'm gonna run high. In terms of Nick Chubb. I've always said it's going to take a year. Now, look, Jason could be correct. I had one ACL surgery. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Nick Chubb. Let's be clear about that. I had one ACL surgery in my left knee, and that left knee surgery is beautiful. Everything's great, right? I could jump. I'm doing my thing. This right knee, it's a child. It's a petulant child. It cries. It whines. If we're in an airplane, it hurts. It's just if it's raining outside, it's just a living nightmare. And you never can tell when you have an ACL surgery what the structural foundation is, like whether arthritis is going to sit in, whether or not you're going to have limited mobility, whether you have nerve damage or anything. When you tear that, people gotta forget. Nick Chubb tore so many ligaments, he had to have multiple surgeries. They had to have one surgery, let it heal, then come back and get him another one. Like, so he's done this multiple times with his knee. And look, he may come back and be the Nick Chubb that we know, but anytime you get cut on, it's not the same. It's just not. He's hoping for 95%. Yeah. But I think he'll be much better next year. What you're looking at is a guy with no explosiveness right now. And you got to train for explosiveness. Like, he was training for, I'm going to run and walk. Like, he is not training to get better.
I looked up the transcript on that fourth down call.
Yeah.
The question was, what was that? Was that what was supposed to happen? He said, no, not go backwards, obviously. But, yeah, that was not exactly how it was supposed to unfold.
I mean, that's about as close to throwing a player under the bus
as he ever gets, because he never does. Yeah. But I'm telling you, like,
if you read between the lines, he's telling you, Jameis, F that up. That's what he's saying.
And if you know how much Kevin loathes turnovers, and he despises turnovers, it's why I kept telling you guys, I've never gotten any indication from the Browns that they feel like Jameis could be the guy going forward. They tried trading him, and then they demoted him to third string. At no point were they ever showing any confidence that he could be the guy going forward.
So why'd they sign him in the first place?
I think just to have an option.
Yeah.
And I think DTR had a really good camp, and I think they liked what they saw, and they felt comfortable that they could go with him.
Yeah.
And if you could get something for Jameis at the end of camp, if a team's hungry for a quarterback,
right,
maybe you can create an asset out of nothing.
Yeah.
Turns out nobody else in the league was interested in him either at the end of camp.
That's been the case.
And so this is what you got.
Dustin, what did you think about Chubb?
I still think it's going to take time for him to really be back to close to 100%. I don't think he's there yet, clearly. I think that, like Jason said, they're kind of handling him with kid gloves, which is what they should do until he gets back. And for us out there that have these high expectations that are unrealistic, we have to lower those expectations.
Right.
And just let's get through the year. Hopefully he gets through the year healthy.
Right.
Those numbers those numbers don't matter. The touchdowns, it doesn't matter. Like what matters is next year when this team comes back. We don't know who the coach is going to be, quarterback, all these things. We know. What we hope is that Nick Chubb can come back and be close to what he was prior to the injury last year.
Now, he's a free agent, so you would re-sign him on a 1 year
I don't know
deal?
how they don't re-sign him.
You got to.
It's
not going to cost much.
It would send such a bad message after everything that this kid's been through and how that they portrayed how they were handling him.
Right.
It would be they'd be totally hypocrites to let him go.
They are handling him as if they're expecting him to play for them next year.
Yes.
Remember what we talked about earlier in the show? You need guys that are going to exude a certain level of professionalism and say this is what we value. The organization has to show based on how they support guys. This is the value we want. The guys that want to muff punts and trip, we don't value that. He's not back, but we value Nick Chubb and the hard work. Because I'm gonna tell you what, it's gonna take. This season, Kevin Stefanski might survive it, but he took a hit.
Oh, no doubt.
Just from the way the training camp, from the 3 and something to Deshaun Watson stuff. As a coach, he's going to have to go back to the drawing board and start to try to develop to get some of that back. Like he's going to have to reevaluate. Okay, I might have to change some things around. This is my demeanor, but the coaching staff, I think, deserves to look at. I don't know what Deuce Staley does. I don't know who runs the running game. They're going to have to look at a lot of stuff. I'll put it to you like this. Something got to change. They cannot just run it back.
Yeah,
Stefanski's value was to be a play caller. And if he's not a play caller and the team's still undisciplined, then he has no value.
Is he taking that back?
I don't know.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean,
I think.
Yeah, I don't know that leadership is his.
I mean, you didn't bring this guy in here and say, man, he's got Jim Tressel characteristics in terms of leadership or whatever.
Right.
I mean, like Tressel wasn't a big X's and O's guy. Not that he obviously did know the X's and O's, but my point with Stefanski is he was a young, up-and-coming coach who was this young offensive coordinator who was smart and really did a good job of looking at defenses, preparing game plans, the scripts, which we all know he's fantastic at. Mm-hmm. That was why he was brought here.
Which is why I would fire Ken Dorsey and go back to the offense, the Niners type of offense that they were trying to run for the last
I would like to
years.
see this, and I would give him this opportunity. I would say, Kevin, look, they might say that this is a quarterback class that ain't going to work or they ain't got the upside. What I want you to do, I want you to look through this class, and I want you to handpick somebody. You adopted Baker, right?
Yep.
Deshaun Watson, that was the move we was
thrust
gonna
on
make.
him.
That was on that. You got DTR and Jameis Winston. They go in this class and find me a guy that you can identify that wants to run what you want to run, and you can mold from this high.
What if he doesn't think any of them are any good?
Isn't that scary a little bit, though, too? Like, if Stefanski's, let's say he's got another year. Like, next year, because if he don't win next year, then
he's out.
He's out.
Yeah.
So the point in me saying that is, do you want him to handpick his quarterback, him be gone, and then the quarterback's like, well, the guy that wanted me, he's not even here.
It's never good when you have a rookie quarterback and a head coach on the hot seat. That's a
That's
bad combination.
It never ends well.
We saw the Bears with that this year.
Well, who's to say it has to be a rookie quarterback? Justin Fields is a free agent, played halfway decent. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out.
Justin Fields really any good?
Listen.
Dude,
Just
if I'm
don't turn the
Justin
ball
Fields,
over.
I'm going right back to Pittsburgh. It's a great situation. Russell's not going to be there forever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Stay there.
That's true.
The roles, those two, actually work well together.
Hey,
good point.
That's kind of
Yeah,
out. Hey,
Be the next great Steelers quarterback.
Just find. You know what
That's a good
Kevin wants in
point.
a quarterback? Don't turn the ball over and don't be Deshaun where you won't throw it more than 3 yards down the field. Like
Well,
it's
that's not
not a
Justin
high
Fields.
bar, huh?
That's not Justin Fields then.
All right, but I was just throwing out a name of a
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
who's a veteran who's going to be available or could. Be
I actually
available.
think Sam Darnold would be a great fit, but they
he
can't
would
afford
be.
him.
I think he'll
I
probably
can't
be
believe
in
I'm
the.
saying that about Sam
He'll probably
Darnold.
be in the 18 to 20 million range. I really don't think he's going to get more than that.
I don't know, man.
He's had a great year. He's had a great year. It's 1 year. It's 1 year.
I know, but
How do they not bring
it's
him back?
1 year.
Yeah.
and he was a first-round pick.
JJ
I
McCarthy.
know
but
McCarthy's there,
I'm
but
like,
how do
hedging
you?
my bet.
If I'm Minnesota, I'd bring him back.
I'll pay both of them. I'm cool.
And you
Trade
know
for
what?
McCarthy?
If
You
eventually,
franchise Darnold,
yeah,
Yeah,
right?
I would.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that's
something.
2 in a row, Dustin.
I mean, how much are you
That's
paying
2
him on
in
a
row. I
franchise
like that.
tag?
Way more than
lot.
18
cares?
million.
That's a fortune.
$40
But
million.
it's 1 year.
It's 1 year.